Hey guys, it's Caspian. Welcome back to my first ever video. Today we're going to be reviewing It, the book, which is out right here. This is my book version of It, of course. It is huge. So there are smaller types, so there is like chapter 1 and chapter 2. These are both combined. So, I highly recommend it, by the way. Okay, so first off, I just want to say welcome to my channel. I'm sorry if I'm very quiet or if you hear dogs. That was my dog. If you hear my dogs whining or dropping a ball, because... Oh. Stop. They really want to play, but I'm trying to record, so I can't play. Okay, also, little bit of a warning. If I'm looking away from the camera, it just means that I am looking at my computer, because I can't remember what I write down or anything about it. So I will also be adding basic information, so if I read it very weird, I'm probably adding something to it, or it's just, I just can't read. Okay, so here's some basic information about the book. The name is It, I-T. The author is Stephen King. That's Stephen King. He is an author of more than 50 books, and he is well known. He is just a very well-known guy. He has written over 50 books, as I said, and some of them are not horror, and some of them are. I have this book from him, The Green Mile. I have not read it, but apparently it's not horror, but it's sad. So if you don't like horror, but you like sad books, Green Mile is your kind of book. Still gruesome. Just warning there. The page count is 1,153 pages, but that is including the epilogue. Without the epilogue, it is including 1,142 pages. The genre is horror, so it is scary for some people. It's gruesome, and it has a lot of messed up things. The publishing date, which this was published, is September 15th, 1986, before I was born. So, very old. My rating is 9.5 out of 10, and that is a 4.5 stars. That means it's a really good book, and I would definitely recommend it. So I started this book November 13th, 2020, and I finished it February 16th, 2021. That took 95 days to read it, and I am recording this right now on March 1st. Does not feel like March 1st. How has it come so quickly? I thought it was like February 20th. Okay, so now we are going to get into the characters. There are a lot of different characters. Some of the people I am going to list are not important, but some of them are important, and I'm going to be giving the main background of like how you know them. I'll try not to include any spoilers, so you can skip this if you want. You don't have to know all the characters. I will put in what time I finish the characters. I'll put it on the screen so you guys can just skip the characters if you guys want to. Anyways, enough of this. Number 1, we have Bill Denbrough. He is one of the main characters, and he's the stuttering loser that lost his brother. Also, if I say loser, their club is called the Losers Club, so I'm not trying to be mean, it's just that. And also, if I'm like saying something that's rude, like how I split them up, it's the main thing you know about the character. That's how I'm splitting them up. So, like Ben Hanscom, that's another character. I say the fat loser. I don't mean that in a rude way. I'm just saying that's how I picture him, and that's how I just split him apart from the rest. Eddie Kaspbrak, he is the loser with asthma. Mike Hamlin, he's the only black kid of the losers. Richie Tozier, he is the joker of the losers. Usually when he starts joking or getting off topic, they say They say beep beep Richie. So you'll know that. If you hear it, you know. Beverly Marsh. She is the only girl in the Losers Club. Stan Uris. He's the smart one of the losers that likes birds. So he's very into birds and he likes to go bird watch. Pennywise, the dancing clown. He's the main villain, and well, everyone knows him. That's his smile on the top. Henry Bowers, he is the main bully of the bully group. Beltugans, he is one of his minions. He is also a bully. Victor Chris, also one of the bullies. Patrick Hockstetter, I think it's Hockstetter. I can't tell because I did not write that right. He is one of the other main bullies, but you don't see him more until the other half of the book, I think, if I'm remembering right. Steve Sadler, he is known as Moose. He is also one of the bullies, but you don't really see him that much, except for, there's two parts that you see him in the most frequently, and they actually talk about him, but they don't really get into information about him that much. Miss Hockstetter, that's Peter's mother. Avery, that's Peter's brother, little newborn baby. Webby Garten, Mr. Hockstetter, sorry. He is Peter's father. Webby Garten, leader of the bullies that threw a character into the canal in 1984. So it's 1958 for the other characters, so when the people were kids, but when they're adults, it's 1984, 1985. Melon was a young gay man in 1984, and he dies. Hagari, that is Melon's friend, and he testifies, and he knows about it. Georgie Denbrough, Bill's brother. You guys probably all heard of Georgie Denbrough, died by getting his arm pulled off. Yeah, and bleeding out, dead. Tom Rogan, Beverly's husband, which is Beverly Marsh. Audra Phillips, Bill Denbrough's wife. Al Marsh, that is Beverly's father. William Denbrough, that is Bill's father. Miss Kasprak, that is Eddie Kasprack's ma. Patty Uris, that is Stan Uris's wife. Butch Bowers, that is Henry Bowers' father. Okay, so now we are going to get into how this is chronologized, how it goes in my book. So, as I said before, there are usually 2 chapters. I just opened a 2 chapter. There's usually kids and adults, but that is not the sense. In this book, as you can see in multiple ways, there is these little things, these usually signal that you're going to adult to childhood, childhood to adult, or you are going POV to POV. So it switches time to time, so you just gotta figure out context clues and all that stuff. You have to figure out what time zone you're in and whose POV you're in. So the book goes in and out of the Losers Club, childhood and adulthood, 1958 and 1984, 1985. It doesn't really have a specific order, but it goes from memory to memory and or past to future where they relate. For example, when they are fighting it also switches POVs, point of views, between the losers, Henry Bowers, Tom Rogan, Audra Phillips, Georgie, and Pennywise, and other characters, which I forgot. Okay. So, it just switches time zones, and it switches POVs. Again, there are no really, if you're bothered by this, it is not first person. It is third person. So if you're bothered by third person or anything else by that, I would not recommend, unless you think you can deal with it. I was not okay with third person. I was trying to read another book that was third person, I was not okay with it until I read this book, and it's good writing, so I dealt with it. Okay, the theme of the book. So everyone has their own theme of the book, and this is just my theme. You can look it up and just base it off online, or you can just make up your own theme, or just base it on mine. I don't care. So I feel like the main thing of It by Stephen King is loss of childhood. The losers go through a lot of stuff that forces them out of innocence, and when they're adults, it shows that when you are an adult, I'm gonna edit that out, sorry. It shows that when you are an adult, there isn't a way to go back to your childhood and be a child again. This is in a figurative meaning, of course, because your mind, it grows, so you cannot go back to your childhood, like your childhood mind. When you're an adult, you can't go back into that sense. Like, you're imaginative, you can't go back in that sense. The other themes are friendship, showing that if you have the right people, you'll succeed at anything you put your mind to. In feeling out of place, but you will always have your group behind you that help you through things. So I made 3 themes, technically 3. But you can also make your own theme, as I said. Yeah, you can do whatever you want the theme, or there's just another theme. It doesn't always have to be a theme. Themes remind me of school, so I don't really have themes to do with books, but at this, I just really wanted you guys to know what my view of the theme was, if any of you were interested. So these are my thoughts of the book. Of course, everyone else has their own thoughts of the book. So if you don't want to hear my thoughts of the book, you guys can skip over this. But the main point of review to listen to my thoughts of the book. So I wouldn't really get if you guys just wanted to skip that. So I'd stay, I'd listen, go for it. Okay. So the book was very well written and has a great basis story. It has a great plot and drags on and keeps you hooked the whole time, which is always great for me because I cannot focus for a long time. So if a book, if it's bad writing, or if it's just not very good, or if it takes forever to get into, I don't really stick with it. I usually just put the book down and I never really get back to it. Like, I'm trying to read it, but I don't really get back to it because I can't focus on it. Some bad things are that if you take a break for a while, you may lose track of where you are until they bring it up again, unless you have a much better memory than me. Because in this book, there's a lot of things going on in each individual person's life. It's not always about just horror. It has their personal lives too. So if you're paying attention to that, you need to try and remember about like what happened to each person. You don't have to, but in my mind, I try to remember, but of course I don't have very good memory, so yeah. It is also definitely not for the faint-hearted. If you're faint-hearted, you're very emotional, or you just don't take bad things well, so I would not recommend this to you. When you're reading, this book has cussing, racism, animal deaths, torture, people deaths, and murder, gore, abuse, homophobia, and emotional attachment. So if you have any problems with any of those, you can read the book. If you only have problems with one thing, if you have problems with the animal deaths, you can skip over them. You can look up what page it starts, look up what page it ends, or just when it starts talking about it, you can just skip over it. It doesn't really matter, but if you're bad with cussing, murder, gore, homophobia, all of that, if you're just if you're not good with multiple things from that list, I do not recommend you read this, or you can watch the movie, but if you're not good with any things, don't. If you're faint-hearted, just don't. Please take these things into consideration because I don't want you guys to get hurt or emotionally scarred in your mind. There's a lot of messed up parts And I don't want you guys to be traumatized in your mind and start thinking like, oh, this is what the world really is. No, it's not. Very messed up, but that's not the whole world. You need to know that only some people are like that, but if you choose your life wisely, you are able to know that not everyone's like that. I don't know what I was dragging on to. But I don't want you to start crying when a dog or baby is dying, because that is going to be really hard on you if you read that stuff, and it's going to traumatize you. This is very well written, it has a lot of messed up parts of the book/movie, and a lot that could make a person probably throw up and or cry. So, I am not that emotional, so I didn't really have to worry, but I had no idea what I was getting myself into, so good luck. Yeah, and when I got this book, all I had heard was about Georgie Denbrough's death. That's all I heard of, but I think everyone knows that, because everyone's heard, like, it just spread all across, like, the United States, like, where you can read this book, probably Britain, too. Probably anywhere. I don't really know how many copies there is of this. But a lot of people have probably heard about Georgie Denbrough's death. That is only one thing I knew about the book, so I had no idea how messed up it was. I had no idea who died. I had no idea. So the reason I started reading this book is because my aunt wanted to go to Barnes & Noble, and we walked there and we saw the book. We decided, while walking around, that we should do a reading competition. Meaning we can start the book at the same time and see who can finish first. I won, I know, congratulations me. But the reason I'm saying this is because I think it was a great choice of mine to start reading the book and to choose it, because it was just very good. It was very well written. It had a lot of pros, but it did have a lot of cons. Very good though. I would 10 out of 10 recommend to the people like me, the not faint-hearted. Okay, so I'm now going to list the pros and cons. I didn't really have a lot of time, and also I can't really come up with the pros and cons very well, so this is a very short list. The pros, it is very good writing, so it describes everything very well, and it's not like a typical fiction that's always just perfect English and they use big words. It's not like that. They sometimes misspell things. They don't know what things are. It really goes into the mind of a child and you understand. All of the characters have different personalities, like Henry Bowers, insane. George Denbrough, we didn't really go into deep. Bill Denbrough, he has a calm personality and he takes charge, but he feels like sometimes he's put in charge and he doesn't want to be. And Beverly, she just has a whole bunch of personalities. It has a lot of diversity, so Ben Hanscom, he's fat. There's Mike Hanlon, who's black. There's Bill with a stutter. There's just a lot. And then there's people in prison that show up. There's a lot of diversity. A lot. There's also gay people. And then I think maybe they mentioned trans. I don't remember. Yeah. There's also a great plot. So, base of the story, very good. And they have great characters. I cannot say this enough. Great characters. I love the characters so much. It's just, yeah. Some of the characters I don't like, but I love how he pictured the characters and how he just explained their mindset and explained what they look like. Okay. Welcome to the con section. Very messed up. Definitely messed up. Animal deaths. It includes like dogs, birds, and cats dying. Does not really bring up cats, but mainly dogs and a bird. It has homophobia, so people being homophobic. It has all of my TWs in it, so the ones I said before that are cussing, racism, animal deaths, torture, people deaths, murder, gore, abuse, homophobia, and emotional attachment. There are 10 TWs, and it is definitely not for the faint-hearted. Okay, so I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. It's my first ever video, so give me tips about how to do this. I am not good. As you saw, I stuttered. I forget what to write. So give me tips in the comments, or just critic me, or whatever you need to. Tell me what else you guys would like to hear on this channel, because usually I will be giving reviews. I can offer some books for you guys to read. I can recommend the books you guys can read. I can just do a whole lot of other stuff. I can take you on shopping trips if you guys would like to. Just follow me, hit that subscribe button. That's following. Like this video or dislike, I don't really care. Do whatever you want. Yeah. Bye.